also mean eagle, but also means vulture. Now, the eagle is a representation of empowerment, while the vulture feeds on that which is dead. We can choose to be empowered by a relationship with Yahweh Elohim. I can do all things through Mashiach that gives me strength. Or we can eat the dead things offered to us by the Satan. Okay? These three animals take us back to our first words. Demut, meaning likeness or similitude, that comes from the root dama, that means to be like, but it also means to imagine or to think. It also means to make oneself like something else. So we can choose to be what we were created to be, or we can become something that we were never supposed to be. We were not created to be in a state of spiritual poverty. We were created to have dominion over it. The next word that we looked at, the second word that we started off with, was penechem, meaning their faces. The root again was panim, that aside from face means presence or in the presence of. And its root pana means to turn or to turn towards or to turn away from. So considering the previous statement, the one we just made, we have to realize that we have a choice to turn towards Yahweh Elohim, or to turn away and yield ourselves again to the enticements of the Satan. If we take the ideas that we formulated in verse 10 and we cram them together into a cohesive thought, we could consider an idea something like this. We are created with the capacity to think and to imagine just as Elohim thinks and imagines. The Adam was blessed by Elohim, and as such was to be and still today can be fruitful and multiply, not necessarily in a sense of procreation, but rather in the sense of growing spiritually in a relationship with Elohim, and also in the realm of humankind. That we build our relationship with Elohim. What was the first commandment that Yahshua said? He said, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, your Elohim, Yahweh is one. And you will love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul. He added mind. He's Yahshua. He wants to add something to it. He can. And with all your strength. And he said the second commandment is just like it, that you love your neighbor as yourself. So in this, we can build a relationship not only with Yahweh Elohim, but we build it with each other. We also build ourselves up. If our understanding of that, if we perceive where we're going. So, this is because the Adam can think and imagine in a way that resembles the thought and the imagination of Elohim. We are created to be greater than fear, anxiety, dread, and depression. We are created to be greater than the darkness. It is our perception of the light that can lead us out of the night from evening to morning. We have the ability to have dominion over our choices. We have free will. We are both physical and spiritual beings, as described in the phrase, Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heaven. Yahweh Elohim took the physical earth to create our physical side and then blew into our nostrils the spiritual side. The Adam, you and I, was created for a purpose designed by Yahweh Elohim. We have a choice that we can gather our emotional state into the presence of Yahweh Elohim and be strengthened by him, or that we can allow ourselves to suffer the violent emotions of the flesh. We have been given the means to travel with Yahweh Elohim and remain in his presence. It is our choice to do so. We can make teshuvah when we lose focus on being gathered to Yahweh Elohim and fall to the violent emotions of the flesh. We can choose to be led by Yahushua over the Yarden, those things that drag us down, being led to Makom, which is the place within Elohim, or we can be fearful of what lies ahead, believing the false report of the deceiver, and be turned away back into the wilderness. We can journey or travel with Yahuwah Elohim, or we can again yield to the deception of the Satan and choose the carnal path in our existence. We can choose to be empowered by a relationship with Yahuwah Elohim. I can do all things through Mashiach that gives me strength. I can do all things through the anointing of Yahuwah that surrounds me, dwells within me, that opens my perception to receive guidance and instruction from the distinct Spirit of Yahuwah Elohim, the Ruach HaKodesh. When we are weak, Yahuwah is our strength. Or we can eat the dead things offered to us by the Satan, and as a result come under the judgment of the left hand. We can choose to be what we were created to be, or we can become something that we were never supposed to be. We were not created to be in a state of spiritual poverty. We were created to have dominion over it. We have a choice to turn towards Yahuwah Elohim or to turn away and yield ourselves to the enticements of the Satan. So we're kind of getting a clearer picture that maybe the chariot has been provided for us to continue forward and to ascend towards the realm of Elohim. This first chapter of Ezekiel, it has been beaten to death, unfortunately, by mystics wanting to make it something other than what it says. This is a verse about empowerment. And what we're learning in this first chapter of Ezekiel, we're getting little bitty tidbits of how to build a life, how to build a strong life, and how to carry ourselves forward to the presence of the throne, that how to bring ourselves into the power and the authority of Yahuwah Elohim. That when we are in that presence and in that power, then we can overcome anything. But as we see in these 7 parts now, that little bitty movements that keep taking us forward. So this is our 7th part. We'll take a look at 11 and 12, I think, next Tuesday. Any questions on this? Going once. Going twice. Grooviness has been achieved.